I'd like to say congratulations to Danny Lash.
Yes, I wasn't going to bring that up because it might be too much of a jinx. But if I was not concerned about jinxing Danny Lash, I would probably be telling people about a record label deal he's on the verge of signing. So yes, let's
I'm gonna.
congratulate him because you already started the jinxing process. So we may as
Danny
well.
Lash wouldn't expect anything less from me, I guess.
Yes, well, it's better than breaking his glasses.
Yeah.
He can.
Let's leave the past in the past.
Yeah. So a little jinxing doesn't hurt, not as much as breaking one's glasses.
No, it's cheaper too.
Yeah. Okay. So Dawna, how are things going up in here in North Bay, like in terms of organizing Occupy North Bay?
Well, the Facebook group has 195 people
Yeah.
supposed to be attending, and the location has been set, and I believe 100% at City Hall for Saturday all day.
Wicked.
So, and I know some people may be planning on staying the night. So,
Yeah.
if you can't get in before 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
just come by after.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to come to North Bay and occupy it, then come on, meet us at City Hall. And there's going to be a hardcore little group of campers too. I'm not going to be a camper myself, but I'm definitely going to be out there, and we'll see how that goes.
I'm excited to see something like this happen in North Bay.
Yeah, because this is a small town. For those who don't know where North Bay is, this is a small town of 50,000 people, and there seems to be a lot of energy surrounding this right now.
Yeah, and this is generally a pretty conservative town where we don't have a lot of people ever taking part in protests in North Bay.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to having people come out and support something like this.
Yeah, and there's a hard-working little nucleus of people that have put a lot of their time into this effort. Like Jordan McEllerin is one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks go out to him for his efforts.
Yeah, there's quite a few people involved. Jordan's the only one I've really talked to out of his
Yeah.
core group, but
Yeah.
he's really passionate about what he's up to.
Yeah, he's
And
going to
he
be
plans
camping
on
too.
camping, so I commend him for that, because I will be sleeping in my bed.
Me too.
Yeah.
Or my bed, not your bed. But Mike, you still there?
I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You're still here.
How are you, Mike?
I'm good. You?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty
I
excited
just realized
about
that
Saturday.
I just realized my mic was muted that whole time. I've been sitting here chuckling and enjoying your conversation, and yeah,
Well, your chuckles were wasted.
yeah, they were. I'm a native of North Bay. I was born and raised there. I lived there most of my whole life. I moved away 4 years ago
Yeah.
maybe, and my heart is still in North Bay. So I just I wish nothing but good wishes for Occupy North Bay, and I really hope that that you guys get good numbers, and beyond that, if a permanent protest or a permanent movement isn't something that can be viable, I'm in a smaller town here. I'm in Aurelia, and while we may not be able to maintain something like Occupy Toronto or Occupy New York, we can still support this Occupy movement and do other things. And I think a really, really good idea is to arrange groups for transport. People who are going down, make sure that they fill their car, get people to these other Occupy Toronto, Occupy Ottawa. Even Sudbury, I think, has about 15 or 20
yeah.
people
Sudbury's
camping out.
still going, I think, so
That's wild.
it's
Yeah.
way hard
Yeah,
up
I'm
north
really
to do
looking
that,
forward to
so.
occupying something. Me and Mike have just been occupying the internet. Although Mike, you went down to Occupy Toronto just this past week, did you not?
Yeah, I did. I was in Toronto for other reasons. Admittedly, there were more important reasons why I was there, just personal reasons. However,
But you
I
occupied
could
it.
not miss the opportunity to go down and visit Occupy Toronto and see what they're doing. And I went more or less to listen to people. I didn't want to add my own voice to the situation.
Yeah.
Although from my understanding, a member, I started a small Facebook group called Aurelia Supports Occupy Toronto, and one of the members there might be arranging, like I just suggested, he might be arranging weekly rides down. So I'm really hoping that, I'm really hoping that we can expand this idea and get people from smaller communities going to these bigger events, learning both of us can learn from each other, and what we bring back home we can use, and what we bring to them as support it is essential too. And
They're talking about camping long term here in Toronto, and like they're very close to the gay district, is where I spent quite a bit of time in the city, and it's a perfect community for that. So I'm sure there's lots of support from that community. And like planning on going in the winter is a pretty powerful statement to make in a Canadian climate, even if it is in Toronto.
Yeah.
Why don't we also bring Jacob into our discussion here, Tony? He is in Toronto right now. He's from Orillia, and I think that we could round out this conversation. We'll talk about Occupy movements and the Occupy movement in Toronto. Oh, did we lose Dawna?
No, I'm here.
No, that was my attempt at Jacob.
Okay.
And I will try that one more time.
Yeah, do the Facebook.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the Skype.
Yeah, I accidentally dialed a cell, which didn't work. And hopefully here comes
you guys
Jacob.
get talking about the
Hello?
relative tax?
Hello?
Jacob,
Hello?
How's it going,
how
Jacob?
you doing?
Can you hear me? Good, how are you?
So you're on the air now with
Awesome.
Tony and I, and Dawna has joined us here as well. She's in North Bay, and we just thought we'd add you to the conversation.
Great.
And talk about, one of the things that we want to talk about was the Occupy movement and what it means for smaller communities. And I know that you have some interest in Occupy Orillia, and that's something that you look at organizing. How is that going to be different than Occupy Toronto?
Well, obviously there's a population difference. What I've been doing is just trying to connect with as many people in Orillia as I can. And I'm sure that there's probably hundreds of people in Orillia who are following and supportive of the Occupy movement. It's just a matter of connecting with them and becoming visible. So through some of the columns I've been writing in the Orillia Packet, I've been receiving some emails from people. One woman from a church group said that a dozen elderly feminist women were sitting around and had a lively discussion about it in their church afternoon, and agreed that they wholeheartedly support it and are looking at other ways of supporting it. And so it's all these little conversations and these things that are happening that we probably have no idea about. And it's just a matter of tapping into that and trying to create a larger discussion. And perhaps even doing smaller actions like displays at different events. Or if we have interest, maybe even starting our own occupation, even if it's just a handful of people, I think it'd be a very powerful statement.
Right. I got to admit, Jacob, that when this thing started out, I thought by now the weather would be playing a factor, and we'd see people drifting away and the numbers declining. But the only signs we're getting right now is this thing is picking up speed, gaining momentum, and the numbers of campers and the numbers of occupations in terms of encampments are growing.
Yeah.
That's an incredibly encouraging sign.
Yeah, when I'm down at Occupy Toronto, I'm talking to people, and the energy is just amazing. And for people to think for 1 second that it's just going to all of a sudden disappear, they're out of their mind. When I'm talking there and I'm having the greatest conversations I've ever had with people, there's no way that we're just going to all of a sudden just give up and go home and say, oh, we tried.
Yeah. Now, are these campers? Do you get the sense that they're there for the winter? Can they do this?
I get a sense that a lot of people are hoping to go as long as they can. I think you mentioned on the show earlier that they had set up a couple of yurts, which are giant tents that I think they used to use in the...
My boyfriend actually builds yurts. They're Mongolian, Russian temporary structures, and they're round. And he's living in off-the-grid.
They can be totally weatherized too, can't they?
Yeah, no, he's living in his all-winter off-the-grid in North Bay. So.
Very cool.
Yeah, so a couple of big yurts would help people. You know, it's one thing to tent at night. That's not a problem. You get a nice minus 40 sleeping bag, you're good to go. But, I mean, it's your activities in the daytime, all the stuff you have to do. Like, if they have a couple of nice big mess tents or yurts with propane heaters, they can live there in the winter, you know? Have their general assemblies and big common areas.
Another cool thing about Occupy Toronto is that some of the First Nations elders have started a sacred fire and are now burning it inside their tent. and the fire department was called, and they showed up, but the
Now, when you say the
elders.
fire department was called, do you mean that the Occupy movement brought the fire department in themselves, or do you mean that the community called the fire department?
Yeah, there was concern that they didn't, at first people didn't want them to start a fire because it would invite the fire department and the police to come in, because you're obviously not allowed to have fires in
Right.
public parks. But they lit it anyways, and when the fire chiefs came, they worked out an arrangement, and they said, this is our sacred fire, and we're not putting it out. And now they have a fire that is amazing.
The elders are really taking an active role. I have a friend in Prince George that's really involved with the movement there, and he said the majority of and Prince George is fairly comparable to North Bay or Timmins, and they said a lot of the occupiers were actually elderly retirees out into support. So it's really nice to see the generations coming together like that,
You say the
especially
word
with politics.
Prince George brings back memories. I was stationed there throughout my whole tree planting career. Oh my God,
Yeah,
I will never go back there.
that's the AIDS capital of Canada. So
It's a lot of things capital of Canada.
yeah,
Murder capital of Canada. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Anyway, good to hear that Prince George is occupying itself.
yeah.
The
It's
movement.
very comparable to North Bay too. So
Jacob, the reception you've got, like the feedback you've gotten from your articles with the Aurelio Packet, has been fairly positive. I saw that you attracted the attention of and a response from Bruce Stanton, Conservative MP in your area,
Yep.
and amazingly, under his article on the Aurelio Packet website, he was fully dismantled time and time again from people that posted comments joining his article, and then you have
Yeah.
your opportunity to rebut him as well on the website, correct?
Yeah. And so basically, my point was that a lot of what I've heard in the media from our leaders and media itself have been attempts to discredit and delegitimize and denigrate the people of the Occupy movements in order to take away steam from it or create this image of it, which isn't accurate at all if you've
Yeah.
actually been there or talked to the people about it.
Uh-huh.
And so he misquoted me on several occasions, trying to attack my credibility. And then he presented an example of Harper's leadership on the world stage, which was the Muskoka Initiative for
Yeah.
Child and Maternal Health.
We touched on that earlier in the show. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. And so basically, there's something like 10 million children who die every year from easily preventable diseases.
Uh-huh.
And so Harper and the other G8 leaders came together, and they put together enough money to help prevent 1.5 million of these deaths, as if we don't have enough money or ability to prevent all easily preventable deaths of children in this world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
To be
uh,
honest,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead, Tony.